up, everybody? I'm back. I'm alive. I'm sorry for having been gone so long. Summer school was way crazier than I thought. But I'm back, and Texas Tech is back. So let's just jump right into it. Texas Tech scores 31 unanswered points in the second half to win against the University of Houston. I do want to start with a disclaimer. I actually like Dana Holgorsen. I actually think he's a pretty good coach. I like his spunk. I like his whatever. I appreciate his willingness to play teams. Obviously, I didn't like his, we're going to wreck Tech. But, hey, he wrote a check and his team couldn't cash it, so it is what it is. My first thoughts on the game, holy crap, we can run the football. We ran the football fairly effectively last season. Not as effectively as I think we did last night. So that was a big deal. I did have some concerns about our inconsistency in terms of especially the offensive line. We had a few big third downs that we ended up getting sacked because we couldn't convert at all. So not ideal. I don't know if it was a play calling issue. I don't know if it was just failure on the offensive line. I'm not really sure what the issue was there. In retrospect, if I'm honest with you, I'm just kind of looking back through rose-colored glasses because we won. The defense. So the defense is something that I'm not sold on yet, right? Because we looked really rough at times in the first half. We did settle in, and I felt like we did much better once we settled in a little bit. But Dana Holgorsen did say that it was, and I quote, one of the worst halves I've ever been a part of. And he continues. But so you have to ask yourself, were we that good in the second half, or were they that bad? And I think to be fair, it could be a little bit of both. So we'll see. Shuck looked solid. I felt like he made pretty good decisions. I felt like he didn't just sling the ball around unnecessarily. 17 of 24 for 231 and a passing touchdown, and he ended up with a rushing touchdown as well. Eric Uzukama, obviously stone cold savage. That man had 7 catches for 179 yards. 179 yards out of 231. So while he didn't have any touchdowns, Eric literally set the stage for everything that we had happen. He was a significant chunk of our offense. But the guy, the man, the myth, the legend of the hour, Tahj Brooks. Can we talk about him for a second? Come on, guys. 15 carries, 134 yards, and 2 tuds. Both of the touchdowns that he ran for were 40-plus yards. Give this man a seam, kick back, take a long off look, and get ready because he's coming in hot, boys. Hey, we can run the football. Watch out if Texas Tech can run and throw. That's, air raid and ground raid. I don't really know how that works, but here we go. I will say I was actually pretty surprised and impressed, I think, overall with Sonny Cumbie. Our offense was effective. We struggled early on, and we struggled with some pass protection. And I'm not positive if that was a situation, if that was a result of us doing poorly early on that put us, behind the sticks in a situation where we had to throw the football and we had to look deeper, and that put more pressure on our offensive line, which would fall to Cumbie, or if our offensive line just collapsed. It's kind of all over the place. So, so far I'm impressed. I'm glad he's back. Welcome home, Mr. Cumbie. Man, we got a dub. Did you guys hear the victory bells floating on the West Texas breeze? It was beautiful. Looking forward, next week we play Stephen F. Austin, who beat Tarleton 20-10. That should be a dub for us. It's a home game. If you are in Lubbock, Texas, if you can drive or fly to Lubbock, Texas, be there. Let's just fill this out. Because here's the deal, guys. After that, we play Florida International, who beat Long Island University. I'm assuming they're in Long Island. I didn't know Long Island was big enough for its own university. 48-10 last week, so I'm not really impressed by that. But these next 2 games are huge because as of right now, We need 5. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games to qualify for a bowl, which would be our first bowl game since 2017, which we lost, but I digress. If we can win the next, if we just need 5 wins, guys. 5. And these next 2 games could put us in striking distance. We could literally be halfway to our total. Okay, that's massive. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Big 12 overview. Let's look at the Big 12 as a whole. Everybody won, actually, except for West Virginia. Yes, I said everybody, which includes Kansas. Don't worry, they rushed the field against South Dakota. Number 21, Texas took on number 23 ranked the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Formerly Louisiana Lafayette. I think they've dropped the Lafayette part now, and they're just the University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns. But they beat them 38-18. I watched as much of the game as I could. Being here in Lubbock, you don't really, I was focused. I felt like Texas was always kind of in control of that game. Number 7 ranked Iowa State had to have a late surge to beat the University of Northern Illinois, but they did beat them. K-State beat Stanford pretty handily, 24-7. Number 2, OU beats Tulane 40-35. And I got to be honest, guys, every moment I saw that game, OU was getting all they could handle and all they wanted, and then a little bit more. So, hey, Oklahoma State beat Missouri State. TCU romped Duquesne. And the interesting story in this game is, Duquesne's coach came out afterwards and said, hey, we really appreciate Gary Patterson being willing to take 12-minute quarters in the second half. TCU was up 30+. I think it was like 31 or something like that at the end of the first half. And Duquesne's coach said, look, our depth is really thin. We get into backups who are really like the Division III level guys. And we just appreciate them being willing to kind of, pump the brakes a little bit. Baylor beat Texas State 29-20. And West Virginia lost to Maryland. There's no shame in losing to a Division I opponent. Really isn't. But their president made news recently. He said he does not support, nor will he vote for, the expansion of the college football playoff. So, now I'm more upset by the fact that he was like, yeah, listen, the college football playoff is, I don't like it the way that it is. You're never going to play in it, okay? Especially with only 4 teams, but like your team, West Virginia, is never going to play in it. To be fair, Texas Tech may never play in it. But also, you have a better chance of playing in it if there's more teams being allowed. So why would you not at least give your school a shot? You think the top 4 teams, are you just mad that you're missing out on money? What's the anyways. Big takeaway here, guys. Texas Tech won. We won. Against Houston. In Houston. At NRG Stadium. Woo! That was fantastic. Let's go get these next 2 dubs. Let's roll into Austin, Texas, saw the horns off, and let's go 4-0. Okay? Let's just go and say, hey, we will saw the horns off the Wicked because we're 3-0. We'll go to Texas, win. Okay, we'll be 4-0. We'll travel. We get West Virginia and home after that. Okay, in October, and I think, excuse me, I apologize. We don't have them at home. We have to go to West Virginia. Still think we should win that game. I really see this, potentially, if Tech can play as well as they played last night. We need to shore up the first half. But if we can play as well as we played last night, I really could see this being, at minimum, 4-1, rolling into home against TCU. A home game against TCU at 4-1 is a great. I'm 100% here for that. I do think if we roll into Austin, Texas at 3-0, I think there's a lot of confidence that could be had there. And I think these next 2 games give us an opportunity to really shore up some of the issues we saw, yesterday. Man, golly, guys, that could get exciting. This team looked a lot better than I anticipated. We were underdogs in the game against Houston. For those of you who don't know, most predicted Houston to win. So it's great to be back, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for following along. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, whatever. And we'll see you next week after Stephen F. Austin. And let's go. Wreck 'em Tech.